Hi, today we're going to talk about the reading comprehension strategy of determining purpose. Determining purpose is when you read a book and you think about what the author's purpose was for writing that book. You imagine that the author wrote this book trying to share information with you or share an idea with you. And the way that we like to talk about this is the message of the story, or sometimes we talk about it as the author's purpose being to persuade, entertain, or inform. Okay? Persuade means to convince. So I usually think of the purpose being to persuade when I think of a lesson or a moral of the story. So if the story has a message like that we should listen to our parents, then I might say that the author's purpose is to persuade or convince the reader that we should listen to our parents. Now, anytime that you want to state the author's purpose, it would be nice if you could also explain, give reasons, or give a clue why you believed that that was the author's purpose. So one big part of explaining the author's purpose, if you're really wanting to communicate it well, is kind of proving that by giving a clue. For example, I felt that the author's purpose was to persuade me to listen to my parents when I read the part where the boy didn't listen to his parents and he ended up in big trouble. Then I remembered, oh, he should have listened when his mom told him to do that. And that's when I realized what the message of the story was. Sometimes different students or different readers might have different opinions on what the author's purpose is. But if you can give a good reason for why you chose that purpose, it makes everything make sense. So when we are reading nonfiction books, like books about plants or animals or maybe books about history, these books are designed to inform. This book is designed to inform or teach me about Martin Luther King and his life and the time period that he lived in, what life was like in the 50s and 60s. Now, if we're reading a fictional story, usually a fictional story like this has two purposes: to entertain and also to convince or persuade, to teach a lesson. To summarize, when we think about the author's purpose, we think about the message the author was trying to share, and we use the phrase, when I read this part of the story, it made me think that the author was trying to teach me this lesson, or that the author had this purpose. I want you to think about if you're able to come up with a life lesson that's very applicable to your life. Okay. If I saw the movie Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I maybe had more than one option for what I could say I thought the message of the story was, I might stop and think, which one is the better life lesson, the lesson that would help me in my life? Maybe I could think, maybe the lesson was not to touch green ooze on the sidewalk. Okay, probably we shouldn't do that. But is that really a big life lesson that we all need to learn? Probably not as important as maybe if I take a look back at the problems and solutions in that story, and I think about the characters and what they went through, I could come up with a great message of the story, like the importance of supporting your friends and working together as a team. So let me put it into my sentence starter. I think that the author's purpose in writing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was to teach us to support our friends and work together as a team, because Leonardo and Michelangelo and Donatello and Raphael supported each other, and even when things were difficult, they were always there for each other like brothers. That sounds like a much deeper, better message of the story. I would like to see you thinking about the author's purpose of the story. I don't want you to miss out on a great lesson because you didn't take the time to stop and think about it. So stop and think about, what is the author trying to say? What is the author trying to teach me? And if you're ever stuck, think about the characters and what lessons they learned. All right, happy reading. Enjoy.